Hello and welcome back to SML Primetime, the official commissioners podcast of the Sim Madden League. I am Primetime 000, and I have what I think is going to be a very, very fiery episode today because I'm going to give the truth around the SML today. I want to talk about season 81 first because what a season it was. I know season 80 playoffs, there were a lot of people saying that the playoffs were boring, right? That was not the case this year. We've seen KP beat Bomber in a playoff game for the ages. KP had claimed he didn't study for that game, but he knew 3 or 4 of Bomber's best plays. He was jumping plays all around. He wanted to win bad, and he beat Bomber in the first big upset of the playoffs. We saw Torque beat Dan, which I'll talk about in a second, then beat QP to make the AFC Championship game. KP misses a field goal to beat Eddie. So just a lot of fun stuff happening. And then obviously in the NFC side of thing, I played Steel in what was just a classic down to the wire game. Overall, I think it was one of the most entertaining playoffs that we've had in quite some time. The Super Bowl, I think, was a little boring. Everything besides the Super Bowl was great. And I just want to talk about that for a second. Eddie specifically. Is Eddie good? That's the big question. And we talked about it in SML chat, and I said I was going to address it on SML Total Access or this show. So this is my comment on Eddie. Eddie is not a great player. He's a solid player who can beat anybody if they're having a bad day and he's having a really, really good day. I actually think compared to the first time I played him, which I believe was last season, he regressed as a player, but he made the Super Bowl because he got lucky against KP. No offense to Torque, but Torque is not an AFC Championship caliber player. And then he played well against Raider fan in like an 11 p.m. game. So as I think about Eddie, it's like you kind of had a favorable schedule. You get into the Super Bowl and then you get dog walked. It wasn't close. I was in total control the whole time. He had a garbage time touchdown. So Eddie, who goes before the game and says it's just another game, gets completely dog walked. Doesn't have a first down until I think like 1 minute left in the second quarter. I mean, it was bad. It was an embarrassment for him and the AFC, in my opinion. And I don't think Eddie will ever be back in an SML Super Bowl again. I mean, that's just the truth. I think Eddie has to realize that this is a big boy league, and he just blew his only shot at possibly winning a Somebody trophy. He's going to learn very, very quickly that it's hard to win in this league. So is Eddie good? Yes. Is he great? No. Will he ever be in a Super Bowl again? Definitely not. I just don't see, like, the fact that he made an AFC Championship game and he didn't play Bomber, he didn't play Dan or QP. I mean, the dude should have played the Powerball because that is like luck. And I'm not talking Andrew. Speaking of luck, that field goal block that Torque had over Dan, blocks the kick, returns it back in a game that Dan had sealed. That game got a lot of traction in chat. Dan was talking about retirement for a little bit after that, saying that his joy for the game was gone and Torque was feeling good, right? I'll say this. Field goals are like 95%. I mean, from inside 50 yards or even inside 60 yards. When I think about the blocks, I think they're stupid, but I'm okay with them because field goals are so guaranteed that at least it's something, right? Now, it's unfortunate for Dan because, in my opinion, when I look at modern era SML playoff upsets, that was probably the biggest modern era playoff upset that we've seen in a long time. And honestly, I respect Dan a lot. I think Dan's a great player. Dan shouldn't have been in that situation. That should have been a 2 or 3 score game. And Dan would probably tell you the same thing. It shouldn't have been a 5-point game or whatever it was when he lined up to kick the field goal. He should have been all over Torque. It shouldn't have been close. And you have to, when you're in the SML playoffs and you're an elite player, my message is this. If you're Dan, if you're Bomber, if you're QP, if you're any of these guys that considers yourself elite, you've got to put them away. You can't play control offense. You've got to drive the knife because that's what happens. And Dan, in my opinion, failed from the aspect of putting it on Torque. He let the game decide instead of putting matters in his own hands by already being up. He had some uncharacteristic interceptions, some uncharacteristic poor user plays, and ultimately that game, we can blame the field goal block, but there was a lot of other stuff that happened in that game to make that game closer than it should have been. That game is Dan's fault. It's not the field goal block's fault. It is 100% Dan's fault. And I think as time goes on, Dan will come to terms with that. Dan is an elite player. I said on Total Access, I said, watch out for Torque. If you guys go back and watch the SML Total Access right before the playoffs, I said, watch out for Torque because that is a dangerous man. And Dan laughed at me. I got laughed at on Total Access. Like, oh, is kind of what he said. Well, who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? Another person I want to talk about on the show is Dump. He traded Long. What a risky trade that was. I think it was in a way a trade to show that he could still win passing the ball without Long. Obviously, he beat me week 1, and then he's lost 2 straight. He beat me week 1. He said he beat my butt kind of thing, and how all this stuff. And he's going at me. And Prime from 2 years ago probably would go right back at him. I'm not. I mean, you guys know the game. You guys seen the play where my guy dropped the pass to win the game. I'm sure you guys have seen the playoff score where I beat Dump, I think, by over 20 points. And I don't even know if he had 100 yards passing. The guy's clearly not on my level. Unfortunately for him, I think that trading Long was the biggest mistake of the cycle for him. He was so close to I think, being a legit Super Bowl threat with 2 seasons to go. All he had to do was gain a little more confidence, make the right play here, make the right play there, make one less mistake, tighten up on defense. And instead of doing that, he pivoted hard, and now he's changing up his whole style with 2 seasons left to go. I think that's a mistake. I think he was relying on the run game. I think he should have stuck with the run game and stuck with what was working. Now, here we go as Dump is having an identity crisis with 2 seasons to go in the cycle. Listen, I'll say it, man. Pride is a killer for any man. I'll admit it. I like having speed wide receivers and a big arm quarterback. I'm not trading Williams. I had so many people reach out for Jamison Williams this offseason. And you know what I said? No way, because I'm not going to be the same player without Williams. Dump, be a man and say, you know what? I'm not the same player without Long. If I'm Dump, I'm calling up Fig or whoever he traded him to, and I'm sending the kitchen sink to try to get Long back. I'm trading double. Whatever he got for Long, trade it back and more, because you need Long back to be a contender. And if not, I'm not convinced Dump's going to win more than 2 playoff games the rest of the cycle. He'd have to win 1 this season and 1 next season to beat my expectations. I think he might win 1 and that's it. That's Dump's big mistake. And I really, really, I like Dump as a person. I think he's a competitive player. I like that he has a competitive fire and he goes at me. I'm gonna teach him a lesson. Obviously, we play here soon again in the regular season, and he's gonna regret what he said. But I like him. I just think it's a big mistake. Big mistake. AFC though, I have gone on record on the show many moons, and I've made a lot of predictions, and I've jinxed the likes of Dan and Bomber and Straw and KP. And I could go, and like I said, I could ride my wave and keep being wrong on my prediction and curse. And I could say a guy like Tug or a guy like Eddie will make it. I'm not going to do that. I was tough on him on this show, but I think that with Lamar Jackson and some new hope and some new rage from inside his heart, I think that Dan He finds a way to win the AFC and to get back in the Super Bowl. All hope seems lost. His spirit seems broken, but I gave Dan Lamar Jackson. I helped Dan. He was flatlined on the ground, and I was like, clear, and I brought Dan back to life. And I think Dan makes a Super Bowl and shocks the SML after talking retirement because of me, because I saved Dan. That's what I think is going to happen. Real quick, we got a minute here left. The next big thing, who is it? Dude, I played Steel. That guy is good. Steel is really, really, really good. Pocket presence, taking time to just take the check down, make the right reads, good switch stick user, not elite defense, but very good defense that makes you earn it. He, in a weird way, he reminds me of me. And this guy, I think, is for sure, like when I think of an SML player who's going to be an elite player, like the next big thing, like actually a top 5 player in the SML, I genuinely believe now more than ever that it's Steel. I don't know if it'll be this cycle because he took over a Rams team that wasn't his, but next cycle, that guy is going to be good. I've got 20 seconds left, so I just want to say SML, it's commish time. 2 seasons left. You've seen some eval scores on how some guys rated you. It's funny. How people rank different players. All I could say is close strong. commentate, make podcasts, do shows, finish strong so you can be high for Madden 27. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.